2023, I put out my first song called We Walk On. And I wrote this song earlier that month because I read the story of these two characters who are walking across the country. They're my friends now, Charity and Cameron West, and this is their story.
Well, hi.
Hi,
So my name is Cameron West,
my name is Charity West.
and we did the walk across Canada in 2023 for the missing and murdered Indigenous people. We live along the Highway of Tears in central BC, and we both lost loved ones and relatives.
Yes, and this is an issue that's ongoing to this day, and we found out as we crossed the country that it's happening in every province. So we wanted to talk about why we did this. We wanted to spread awareness and have those tough conversations with Indigenous and non-Indigenous people across the country, just to open up that conversation, because it's not an easy thing to talk about. As an Indigenous person, we almost feel like people should already know when they come into our territories what we're dealing with, and this has been an ongoing thing since first contact that has been happening. Earliest documented Indigenous person would be when they wiped out the Beothuk in Newfoundland. They wiped out a complete tribe. And personally for me, this walk was also a healing thing. My son's dad went missing in 2012 from Prince George, BC, which ends at the end of the Highway of Tears. And he's missing to this day. And we've also lost many, many loved ones. And people we go to school with are just gone.
Another reason why we did this walk is to inspire the youth for our next generations to follow.
It's really important that people acknowledge them and that we build these foundations for them to work off of. If the generations before us didn't do what they did, we would not be able to safely cross the country the way we did. And it's also important that people recognize the importance of the men and boys in our societies as well. They hold sacred spaces along with our women. Our women are our life givers, and our men are our protectors, and we need to honor them and put them back in that position to where they are able to be healthy.
So this walk started in Blackfoot Territory, Sitka, Alberta, to St. John's, Newfoundland,
which lies in the traditional territories of the Mi'kmaq and the Beothuk. We ended this walk with the tribute to our missing and murdered in BC, walking the Highway of Tears from Prince Rupert to Prince George.
The day that we started our walk in Prince Rupert, a totem pole was raised in tribute for the missing and murdered Indigenous women.
So during this walk, we were challenged physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Cameron almost died by the time we got to Quebec, and we were given space for him to nurse back to health in Mohawk territory. There was so many hardships we endured, and the one thing that kept us going was every time we would want to give up or we would want to turn around, somebody would call us and tell us how our presence and what we were doing was inspiring them and helping them move forward, or we would see another missing and murdered Indigenous person's post or hear another story.
I'd like to thank everyone that supported us, and special thanks to the ones that came out and seen us personally. You are not alone.
And I think that was one thing that was really evident as we walked across the country, was how much unity there is out there. Sometimes we would go days without seeing anybody, and then all of a sudden there would be all this love and support shown by so many different organizations, people, individuals, and sometimes in the most unexpected spots. And they weren't all Indigenous. You need to understand that this problem does not only affect the Indigenous populations of this country or south of the border from us. This affects everybody. Our vulnerable are targeted, and it's up to us to come together in unity like we've seen while we walked across the country, and to come together and stand up for our vulnerable populations. So since we've been home, we have been attending rallies, we've been helping search for missing loved ones, we've been doing all that we can and still trying to catch up to our bills, which is a reality of everything. But we have seen the fire ignited within our remote communities, and that was why it was so important for us, is because our communities are so remote that we don't live along any major highways. We're way off, and Prince George is our hub city where we go for shopping and stuff. And we see the fire ignited. We see people going and doing their walks from within the territories on the back roads. We see people showing up for these rallies. We see so much going on. So I want you to know that the fire is ignited. And it wouldn't be without the work that was done before we started. So thank you to our previous generations. So we want you all to know you're not alone. If you have a voice, if you have a computer, whatever you may have, you have a community. We're all in this together, and it's never going to be any other way. And it's time for us to unite.
Thank you all.